Disney's value resorts rated.
On today's episode of the YouTube channel. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're going to talk about value resorts in Walt Disney World.
There are 5 value resorts total, with the campsites at Fort Wilderness Resorts being the wild card, right? So it's technically not considered value when you go on their website, but it is.
I don't know if you can call it a resort if you don't actually get to stay in a building.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know? I feel like that's like a plus.
Right?
It's like a 5.1.
Yes. All right. So we're going to list 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Our 1 being our top choice when we go to our value resort in Walt Disney World. We actually did an episode about this a while back, and I'm not sure if my opinion has changed necessarily, but I definitely feel like a few of them gets a little bit higher on the list.
We'll link up that episode of the podcast. It's a little bit longer than this episode's going to be. So if you want a little bit more details, hear us talk a little bit more about it, you can check out the episode that'll be linked below here.
Perfect. All right. So the campsites at Fort Wilderness, do you consider value or not?
Yeah, I do. And I kind of want to stay at the campsites, even though I'm not necessarily a camper. We're from the New England area. We've talked about this in the podcast before. I'm not super into camping. I think the one thing or place where I would be okay with camping would be at Disney.
So like, Bruce, you prefer glamping is what I'm hearing.
Maybe, I guess, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Then I'm in. Glamping? What is glamping?
It's camping at Disney, basically.
I'm in. I'm in for that.
Do we consider it? So if we have to, I didn't actually rate it in our top 5, so I just kind of threw it in there last minute. So I actually don't have a number for this one.
Here's how it works. If Camp Wilderness, right?
The campsites.
The campsites at Fort Wilderness. If you slept in a building, this would be much higher because like what you do in the resort area and like the amenities that they have and the shows and like the recreational activities, I enjoy a lot.
Well, then it would be the cabins, which would be moderate.
Exactly.
Okay.
Why can't they make that a cheap? Can't they just make it that cheap? Can't they just make that cheap? Call it a value?
Just have plumbing, indoor plumbing, and we're fine, like in your tent.
Yeah. I don't need a whole lot.
Yeah. That's right.
But I like the grounds and the amenities and the recreational activities that Fort Wilderness has to offer.
All right, so it will be number 6.
I guess so.
All right. Number 5, All-Stars. Get in the game at this resort hotel that salutes the world of competitive sports, baseball, basketball, football, surfing, and tennis. Go the distance and don't be afraid to celebrate your inner fan amid sporty decor, starring some of your favorite Disney characters. The reason why I put this number 5 on my list is it is that large resort. It's a busy one. I feel like this is the one that most teams go to when they're booking a night at Walt Disney World. So this one is a little bit, to me, like the more rowdy. Sometimes I don't like rowdy.
Family rowdy, she means.
Yeah. Family
like you're going to be in your room and have a cheering squad next door.
Right.
Which is totally fine because it's fun. Like that's what it's about, right? Like taking your cheering squad or your team to the all-star resorts. Like you don't want to be next to this old lady anyway.
I sound boring. But I have to rate these, right? If you're making me rate them, that's going to be number 5. I don't want to rate anything Disney. You know that. I hate rating anything because at the end of the day, All-Star Sports is way better to me than Motel 5.
That's true. And you know what we always say, like everything for you is going to be different. Like this is just our preference. You may have a different opinion and that's fantastic. Like everybody has their own preference. Like we hear people, we made a shirt that says our heart says Polly, but our wallet says Pop. And people are like, oh, I would never stay at the Polynesian. I always loved the Pop. So they're the opposite.
Right.
Their heart and wallet both said Pop.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's like whatever you want to do.
Do you agree that number 5, All-Star Sports, because you are...
I would say I would flop this in the next one. Or this wouldn't be my 5. It would be higher on my list because our youngest and I love sports. So I feel like this is right up our alley. Like being around other sports people and sports theming would be very fun for us. So I think this would be higher on my list. But I'm going with yours.
Okay, because what I want to say is like what the value resorts I think offer too is the fact that it has larger than life size scale decor.
Yes.
You know, so it puts you in that zone and that competitive spirit when you see all these big sculptures, right? And so our youngest absolutely loves sports. So that's why I feel like it's unfair for me to choose it as number 5, not being, you know, super athletic. So I like sports, but I'm just not really athletic. So I feel like this is my 5, but maybe your 4.
Again, it's all subjective.
Got it. All right, number 4, All-Star Music. In the middle of the All-Star, so there's 3 All-Star family resorts, and All-Star is in the middle of the 2. One thing that definitely increases or enhances this one is the fact that it offers family suites. But I also feel that's kind of unfair, right? Because if we're going to base our opinions on value resorts, shouldn't it be just like the standard area? Because at least for me, when you think of booking something that has family, then the price tag goes up.
That's true.
So then you can kind of look into more of a moderate resort, which...
If that's your thing, though. Sometimes people like the all-star music, and that's their atmosphere.
Well, one thing that the value doesn't offer is a pool slide. So...
I'm out.
that's something that I have to constantly struggle with if go to the... All right, let the rhythm move you at this resort hotel that pays homage to some of the world's most popular music, including country, jazz, rock and roll, and Broadway-style show tunes. Large-sized music-inspired icons outside and subtle song and dance surprises inside provide a harmonious setting for music lovers of all ages.
Great.
I know how much you love to dance.
I do.
And sing.
I'm a TikTok sensation.
So this is going to be your 5.
Yes.
I'm making it your 5.
Definitely would swap this one with the All-Star Sports.
I think when you're rating resorts, to me, especially category-wise, with a value, it's a certain room size. It's a certain type of things, like you don't get, like I said, the slide and a moderate. Beyond that, to me, rating these is more about the theming.
Yeah, and like how much are you going to be at the resort?
Right.
You know, being on Disney property is fantastic regardless of what Disney property you are at. If you're going to be in the parks all the time, you may not want to stay at the Polynesian or the Contemporary and pay that price tag.
So this set aside the fact that it has family suites. I think All-Stars, for me, music is going to be number 4.
All right. What's your number 3?
Number 3 is All-Star Movies.
And we all know how much Connie loves the movies.
I love it because it reminds me of, like, their decor reminds me of Disney, especially because Disney is all about the movies.
Yeah, storytelling, movies, that's what Disney company is made off of. So this one feels like it fits right into that Disney theming.
Exactly. And the larger than life scale where it highlights Toy Story or Dalmatians, like that to me reminds me of where we are and gets me excited.
Yeah.
So that one's going to be the number 3, even though some people say it is the furthest from the bus stop, so it takes longer. And I know Bruce doesn't love that, but we usually don't take the bus anyway. So I disregarded that.
Rent a car, you'll be good.
Number 2 and number 1 were really challenging.
I think you're right about this. Number 2 and number 1 are close. They're very close to equal.
I'm having a really hard time deciding. Even right now, as we are recording, I'm having a really hard time deciding which one it's going to be because both, I feel, have a lot to offer and I like them both, but I got to choose. So number 2, Pop Century, I guess. I don't know. I feel like that can be my number 1. Just depends on my mood. I
feel like Pop Century, now that it has the Skyliner, will probably be a lot of people's 1.
It's themed after the decades from the 1950s, and you definitely get to experience the unforgettable fad. Again, it goes from the 1950s, but it goes all the way through the 1990s and all over again, from yo-yos and Play-Doh to Rubik's Cubes and rollerblades. This resort hotel salutes the timeless fashions, catchphrases, toys, and dances that captivated the world through the decades. What do you think 2020 is going to have?
2020 is going to have it's just going to be like you sitting in your house.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's going to be the theme. So you're an 80s and 90s kid, but you love the 50s. So which one would you want to stay at if you were going to stay here?
So I really, actually, when I'm here, really gravitate towards the 80s.
Yeah.
But again, it just depends on my mood. And I often talked about this in a previous podcast episode of how I love to dress up during our Disney vacations. And this particular hotel, I feel like you can go all out in having a themed night with your friends on an off day and have so much fun dressing to the decades. I don't know if I could get Bruce to do it, but I'm certainly going to try.
No,
not
I don't think so. You're gonna have to trick me into that.
So you mentioned that it's now close to the Skyliner. It also was recently refurbished, so it has more of a sleek design, clean and contemporary, which I think gravitates to a lot of people's tastes. And also one thing to note is that it offers queen-size beds.
There you go.
Which isn't offered in the other type of value yet. So that kind of changed my opinion. I was really struggling with those two things about making it a number 2 or number 1. One thing that I noticed that a lot of people say about the pop is that the walls can be a little thin. So if you do have, back to the rowdy crowds, I was rowdy one time in my life, I remember. So nothing's wrong with that. But if you're not excited about having people cheer near you or whatever, this value might not be the choice.
I mean, listen, depending on the day and the time, I'm pretty rowdy too at Disney.
You know?
I get pretty pumped up to get to go to the parks in the morning.
Same. So no judgment here.
Yes, so I'm with you on Pop Century being number 2.
You are?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 1?
Art of animation. Okay, I get it. Like, again, we talked about earlier, we're not going to judge the fact that it ranked this higher because it has family suites. Just
maybe we will.
Maybe. I mean, we're the owners.
Yeah.
Right?
Might as well just rate it a little bit higher.
It's our list, right? But these have really incredible rooms themed after Lion King, Finding Nemo, Cars, which I really love the Cars area.
The theming of this resort is, if you have little children who love those movies like the Cars, it's just an amazing themed area. And to be able to sit on the cars themselves and take pictures and be around the Cozy Cone pool, like, that's amazing.
Can I just quickly say that even though we've been going to Walt Disney World now hundreds of times, if someone emails us or messages us and says that they love the AOA, I still have no idea what that means.
It's like the AOH is like, what do you mean? You're renting a condo down there?
I have no idea. So you guys, you gotta help me out. It's Art of Animation.
We are not abbreviation folk.
No. Occasionally we do the UTM, and that even still confuses me. All right, Art of Animation. Discover the resort hotel that's a story in itself, celebrating the enchanting artistry of beloved animation favorites. Wow, I'm botching this. Want your own adventure? Rent a Surrey bike for a scenic ride around the lake. Feel like tuning out? Relax at our 3 delightful pools and kick back at the drop-off pool bar. I really love this resort because of the animation theme. It goes back to what I said earlier about all-star movies. It just reminds me of Disney World. It reminds me of why we're here. And it celebrates the art, and you get to actually see all these images, which to me is incredible. Yeah,
it's a great resort. Your kids are going to love it. And these resorts are a little bigger than, and by a little bigger, I mean a lot bigger than like the deluxe resorts.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of walking. So be prepared for that. So if you do have little kids, it may be challenging for you to kind of get around to see everything without them getting tired, or bring a carriage with you. Make sure you do that.
Yeah.
But if you have little children, they're going to love this resort.
This one has the theming that I really love, again, with the lobby and then the food. I feel like here, the food court here is one of my favorites. It is also the newest value resort. So
we did do a video as well about us walking around and kind of giving you a tour of the Art of Animation, which we'll link below as well.
Oh, we will do that.
But I do like the lobby with all the sketches and the artistry that it goes on in that lobby. It makes you get the story of why it's called Art of Animation.
Exactly. And that to me sets the tone for the entire vacation. I still love it. Even though Mermaid, if you book a Mermaid room, it's actually the furthest from everything, which I don't love the walking sometimes.
True.
Kind of stinks. But what it's cool about the Art of Animation is now they also have the Skyliner. And if you really want to go dress and explore the decades, you can still, it's a hop, skip, and a jog to pop.
A jog. I like how you said that. Jog. It's not a jump. It's a little bit of a jog.
Yeah.
All right.
That's going to do it.
All right. Well, let us know what yours are. Here's the question of the show, Connie.
Oh.
Let us know your value resorts ranked, even if you haven't stayed there yet. You know, it could be a wish list of value resorts. Which one would you want to stay at first, and which one would you least want to stay at?
We're basically allowing you to judge a book by its cover here.
Yes. In the comments below, between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. when the video comes out on Tuesday, drop a comment. You can drop a comment anytime. Maybe we'll switch it up. We'll pick 2 winners. Who knows?
Ooh.
So whenever you listen to this, drop a comment in there. But specifically from 8 to 9, we're definitely going to pick one for a free Unlocking the Magic t-shirt of your choice. Let us know what your value resorts are ranked 1 to 5.5.
Perfect.
Right?
That's it.
And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. A lot of people said, oh man, I missed the notification for the last time.
Uh-oh.
Turn that bell on so you get notified of these videos so you can get a chance to win. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast as well.
Yes, share the show, subscribe, do everything Bruce said, and we'll be happy.
All right. See you guys. See you on the next one.